You can use standard Microsoft Excel charts to summarize large data collections quickly. However, you might not always want to summarize a huge range of data or have your chart take up a lot of space in your dashboard. In this movie, I will show you how to create sparklines, which are word-sized charts that fit within a single worksheet cell and were made popular recently by designer Edward Tufte. I will work with the data in sample file 0108 sparkline, and you can find it in the Chapter 1 folder of the exercise files collection. In this workbook, I have a table that shows monthly sales data. You can see the sales data in column B, and then we'll use that data in B for the first two sparkline types, and then finally we will compare the actual sales versus the goals in column C, generating a result in column D, and we'll use that result to create what's called a win-loss sparkline. We'll start, however, by creating a line sparkline, which is essentially a small line chart. So I'll click in cell F2, and then on the Insert tab of the ribbon, I'll go to the Sparklines group and click Line, and I'll select my data range, making sure that the insertion point is flashing in the data range box, and I'll select cells B2 through B13. I don't want to select any labels or any other data. And click OK. And there you see the sparkline. So I have the line itself, and it shows the general trend of the data. I can create a similar type of sparkline called a column sparkline. So I'll go ahead and click in cell G2, go back to Insert, and this time in the Sparklines group, I'll click Column. My location range is already G2, so I can select my data range, and again, for this, that will be B2 through B13. Looks good, click OK, and there you see the column chart. Normally, I would use a column sparkline for column data as opposed to time series data. I like lines better for time data, but it works just as well in this case. Finally, there is a win-loss sparkline, and this is actually win-loss or tie. If you look at the data in column D, you'll see that we have positive numbers where sales exceeded the goal, negative numbers where sales were lower than the goal, and then also for July, in cell D8, you see that there is a 0, and that's where sales exactly met its goal. It's unlikely, but I wanted to include it as an example so you see what happens. To create the win-loss sparkline, I'll click cell H2, go back to Insert, and then under Sparklines, click Win-Loss. Location range is H2, and the data range is the result, again, with the positive, negative, and 0 values from D2 to D13. OK. And there it is. And by just a quick word of explanation, all of the blue markers above the middle line indicate a win. The red markers below the center line represent a loss, and you have this gap here representing July, which is where the value was exactly 0, so it's a tie. If you want to format a sparkline, you can click the cell that contains it, and then go to the Sparkline Contextual tab of the ribbon. You see that you can select different styles. You can change the color of different elements. You can also indicate different types of points. So for example, with the line sparkline in F2, I could indicate the high point with a marker. I could also indicate the low point, and you see the other check marks available. In most cases, you probably won't need to do that, so I will go ahead and clear those checkboxes so that we have the original line. Sparklines are great for saving space and summarizing data in a dashboard. You don't get all the details that you get with a regular size chart, but they make up for it in the space that you save.